You're listening to Movies, where I give a quick rundown of the movies coming out in movie theaters. I just want to start the show by saying I apologize. I'm running behind. I had COVID-19 and I couldn't really get on here to do it because everybody's quarantined. My equipment is in the same room as everybody else. I really couldn't get on and do anything, so I'm playing catch up. So I'm going to start off with movies coming out in theaters on February the 12th. And I'm going to start off with a movie called Meltdown. It had no tomato meter rating and no audience score. Produced as a small, intimate conversation set on a large, stunning canvas, this movie follows Lynn and Tony to the tiny, picturesque town of Ilulissat, Greenland, which is ground zero for the climate crisis. There they discuss the convergence of art and science and how we view the world. Beauty and tragedy share the stage, and each enlightens the other while examining how we all must address the global crisis of climate change. It is a documentary directed by Frederick Golding, produced by Michael Tollin. It came out in theaters and streaming. And also Tony Lasarowitz and Lynn Davis is in it. Okay. I'll put this out here twice. Awesome. Alright, now Adverse. No tomato meter rating, no audience score. Thomas Nicholas and Mickey Rourke star in this gritty, intense urban thriller about one man's quest for revenge. Struggling to make ends meet, rideshare driver Ethan learns his sister Mia is deep in debt to a sleazy drug dealer. When Mia goes missing, Ethan discovers that crime boss Caden is behind the act, and to get close to him, Ethan takes a job as Caden's driver. One by one, Ethan hunts down members of Caden's crew to wreak bloody vengeance as he prepares to confront Caden himself. This is rated R for strong bloody violence, brief nudity, language throughout, and drug content. It is a drama, mystery and thriller, action, crime, directed by Brian A. Metcalf, produced by Kelly Argent, Brian A. Metcalf, and Thomas Ian Nichols, written by Brian A. Metcalf. It's going to be streaming on March 9th. It's 1 hour and 34 minutes long, by Red Compass Media, Black Jelly Beans, and Potato Eater Productions. Some of the cast and crew: Andrew Keegan as Jan, Mickey Rourke as Caden, Penelope Ann Miller as Nicole, Sean Astin as Frankie, Lou Diamond Phillips as Dr. Cruz, and Thomas Nicholas as Ethan. Breaking news in Yuba County. 8% on tomato meter and a 45% audience score. A woman takes advantage of her growing celebrity status when the police and the public think her dead husband is just missing. It's rated R for violence, language, some nudity, and sexual content. It's a comedy, directed by Tate Taylor, produced by Tate Taylor, Jake Gyllenhaal, and Reva Marker, written by Amanda Adoko. It is 1 hour and 36 minutes long. And some of the cast and crew: Ellen Barkin as Debbie, Wanda Sykes as Rita, Aquafina as Mina, Regina Hall as Detective Cam Harris, Mila Kunis as Nancy, and Allison Janney as Sue Buttons. Skyfire. 57% on tomato meter, no audience score. Geologist Wentao Lee vowed he would never return to Tianhua Island after a catastrophic volcano eruption tragically killed his wife, but 20 years later, his daughter Ming continues his research work on the island that took her mother's life, developing a brilliant eruption forecasting system that could save countless lives. The island now has been transformed into a thrill-seeking theme park by greedy businessman Jack Harris, despite Ming's warnings. She was right. Distraught after his daughter's safety, Wen Tao lands on the island as the volcano begins to erupt. It's a race against the clock to save his daughter and the tourists and villagers from the apocalyptic chaos. It's an action, mystery, and thriller. It was made in Chinese, directed by Simon West, produced by Chris Brimble, Jennifer Dong, Jib Halhimus, Emma Shan Wang. Written by Wei Bu and Cindy King. It's also streaming. It's 1 hour and 37 minutes long by Production Capital, Gosnam Entertainment, Meridian Entertainment, China Film Company, Ltd., Base FX, and Highland Film Group. Some of the cast and crew: Ann Ba as Jahua Dong, Sean Dao as Xing, Alice Reitveld as Sue Miller, Dwekui Wang as Wentao Li, Hannah Quinlivan as Ming Li, and Jason Isaacs as Jack Harris. Fringe Exit. 61% on Tomato Meter, 57% audience score. A widowed New York socialite and her aimless son move to Paris after she spends the last of her husband's inheritance. It's rated R for language and sexual references. It's a drama comedy. Directed by Azazel Jacobs. Produced by Trish Dahlman, Oliver Glass, Christine Abler, Katie Holly, Belle Nuru, Christina Piavison, and Noah Siegel. It is written by Patrick DeWitt. It is 1 hour and 50 minutes long by Telefilm Canada, Salgo Productions, Blinder Films, Rocket Science, Terminal City Pictures, Elevation Pictures, and Screen Siren Pictures. Some of the cast and crew: Danielle McDonald as Madeline, Susan Coyne as Joan, Valerie Mahaffey as M.E. Reynard, Tracy Letts as Small Frank, the voice of Small Frank, Lucas Hedges as Malcolm Price, and Michelle Pfeiffer as Frances Price. Young Hearts. 63% on Tomato Meter, no audience score. A 14-year-old develops a budding relationship with her brother's best friend while exploring unfair gender politics at their high school. It's a romance, directed by Sarah Sherman and Zachary Ray Sherman, produced by Elise Freeman O'Brien, written by Sarah Sherman. It's also streaming. It's 1 hour and 21 minutes long by UnLTD Productions, Good Wizard, Duplass Brothers Productions, Kiss the Earth Films, Storyboard Productions, and Salem Street Entertainment. Some of the cast and crew: Eric Martin Reed as Mark, Kelly Grace Richardson as Madison, Ayla Carta as Abby, Alex Jarman as Adam, Quinn Liebling as Tilly, and Jeannie Taneja Azar as Harper. Fear of Rain. 63% on Tomato Meter, 78% audience score. For teenager Rain Burrows, a diagnosis is schizophrenia, which means that every day is a struggle as she tries to figure out which of the disturbing images, harrowing voices, and traumatic feelings she experiences are real and which are all in her mind. But when Rain insists against her parents' advice that the shadows and cries from her neighbor's attic are hiding a dark secret, she enlists help from Caleb, a charmingly awkward new boy at school, who himself may not be real. It's rated PG-13 for violence, terror, disturbing images, some strong language, and mature thematic content. It is a drama, mystery, and thriller, directed by Castile Landon, produced by Dory A. Rath, Joseph J. Restano, Robert Malloy, and Joe Riley. Written by Castile Landon. It's also streaming. It's 1 hour and 32 minutes long by Mirror Image Films, Sweet Tomato Films, Hungry Bull Productions, Zero Gravity Management, and Pinstripe Productions. Some of the cast and crew: Julia Vesey as Alexa, Harry Connick Jr. as John Burroughs, Eugenie Bondurant as Danny McConnell, Israel Brassard as Caleb, Madison Eisman as Rain Burroughs, and Katherine Heigl as Michelle Burroughs. Land, 69% on Tomato Meter, 83% on audience score. The poignant story of one woman's search for meaning in the vast and harsh American wilderness, Eddie, in the aftermath of an unfathomable event, finds herself unable to stay connected to the world she once knew, and in the face of that uncertainty, retreats to the magnificent but unforgiving wilds of the Rockies. After a local hunter brings her back from the brink of death, she must find a way to live again. It's rated PG-13 for thematic content, partial nudity, and brief, strong language. It's a drama directed by Robin Wright, produced by Alan Stewart, Laura Kennedy, Leah Halser, Peter Seraph, written by Jesse Chatham and Aaron Dignam. It's going to be streaming on March the 5th. It's 1 hour and 29 minutes long by Sonatic Media, Big Beach Films, Nomadic Pictures. Some of the cast and crew: Finley Wojcik Hissong as Drew, Brad Leland as Colt, Warren Christie as Adam, Kim Dickens as Emma, Demian Bitcher as Miguel, and Robin Wright as Eddie. The World to Come, 73% on Tomato Meter, 59% on the audience score. This is set in the American Northeast. Abigail, a farmer's wife, and her new neighbor, Tally, find themselves drawn to each other. A grieving Abigail tends to her withdrawn husband, Dyer, as free spirit Tally bristles at the jealous control of her husband, Finney. When together, their intimacy begins to fill a void in each other's lives they never knew existed. This movie explores how isolation is overcome by the intensity of human connection. It's rated R for some sexuality and nudity. It is a romance, gay lesbian drama, directed by Mona Fastboy, produced by Casey Affleck, Marguerite Bailu, David Hinojosa, Pamela Koffler, and Whitaker Later. Written by Ron Hansen and Jim Shepard. It's going to be streaming March the 2nd. It is 1 hour and 38 minutes long by MYRA Entertainment, Yellow Bear Films, Hyper Films, Plasper Films, Sea Change Media, Charades, Sailor Bear, Arcia Production, Ingenious Media, Sony Pictures Worldwide Acquisitions, and Killer Films. Some of the cast and crew: Aichim Tiobenu as Widow Weldon's son, Karina Ziana Ferezum as Nellie, Christopher Abbott as Finney, Casey Affleck as Dyer, Vanessa Kirby as Tally, and Catherine Watterson as Abigail. Ruth Justice Ginsburg in her own words. 89% on Tomato Meter, no audience score. Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg discusses the challenges she faced to make it all the way to the Supreme Court. It's a documentary directed by Frida Lee Mock, produced by Frida Lee Mock, written by Frida Lee Mock. It's going to be streaming on February 18th. It's 1 hour and 30 minutes long by American Film Foundation, Sanders and Mock Productions, and Artemis Rising Foundation. So, Jelen Dreyfus as executive producer, Barbara Dobkin as executive producer, and of course Ruth Bader Ginsburg as herself. Cowboys, 91% on the Tomato Meter, 63% audience score. Troy, a troubled but well-intentioned father who is recently separated from his wife, Sally. Aghast at Sally's refusal to let their trans son, Joe, live as his authentic self, Troy runs off with Joe into the Montana wilderness. Meanwhile, police detective persuades them, but her resolve about the case is tested the more she learns about Joe's family. Now, this is a modern-day Western film, and is a tale of rescue, family betrayal, and a father and son on the run. It is a drama directed by Anna Kerrigan, produced by Gigi Graff, Anna Kerrigan, Chris Parker, and Dylan Sellers, written by Anna Kerrigan. It's also streaming. It's 1 hour and 23 minutes long. Some of the cast and crew: Chris Coy as Jerry, Bob Stevenson as Sheriff George Jenkins, Gary Farmer as Robert Spotted-Bird, Ann Dowd as Faith, Jillian Bell as Sally, and Steve Zahn as Troy. Judas and the Black Messiah. 96% on Tomato Meter. It's a 96% audience score. FBI informant William O'Neill infiltrates the Illinois Black Panther Party and is tasked with keeping tabs on their charismatic leader, Chairman Fred Hampton. A career thief, O'Neill revels in the danger of manipulating both his comrades and his handler, Special Agent Roy Mitchell. Hampton's political prowess grows just as he is falling in love with fellow revolutionary Deborah Johnson. Meanwhile, a battle wages for O'Neill's soul. Will he align with the forces of good or subdue Hampton and the Panthers by any means, as FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover commands? Rated R for violence, pervasive language. It is a history, drama, biography, directed by Shaka King, produced by Ryan Coogler, Charles D. King, and Shaka King, written by Will Burson and Shaka King. It is also streaming. It is 2 hours and 6 minutes long, by Participant Media and MACRO and Braun Studios. Some of the cast and crew: Martin Sheen as J. Edgar Hoover, Ashton Sanders as Jimmy Palmer, Dominique Fishback as Deborah Johnson, Jesse Plemons as Roy Mitchell, Lakeith Stanfield as William O'Neill, and Daniel Kaluuya as Fred Hampton. All right, and the last one, Minari. 98% on Tomato Meter with a 91% audience score. A tender and sweeping story about what roots us. Minari follows a Korean-American family that moves to a tiny Arkansas farm in search of their own American dream. The family home changes completely with the arrival of their sly, foul-mouthed, but incredibly loving grandmother. Amidst the instability and changes of this new life in the rugged Ozarks, Minari shows the undeniable resilience of family and what really makes a home. It's rated PG-13 for a rude gesture, some thematic elements. It's a drama directed by Lee Isaac Chung, produced by Dee Dee Gardner, Jeremy Kleiner, and Christina O, written by Lee Isaac Chung. It's going to be streaming on February 26th. It's 1 hour and 55 minutes long by Plan B Entertainment. Some of the cast and crew: Noel Kate Cho as Ann, Alan Kim as David, Will Patton as Paul, Yu Jung Yun as Sunya, Yeri Han as Monica, and Stephen Yin as Jacob. Alright, that's it. That's coming out in theaters on February the 12th. Have fun watching the movies. This show is brought to you by Heartland Production Entertainment. If you'd like to help to make the show better, go to patreon.com/heartlandpae.